Hi, I'm Anton Babushkin. I'm the CEO of Start My Wellness. It's a company I started 10 years ago. We're a mental health company, and today I'm talking with Dana Manning.
My name's Dana Manning. I am a limited licensed psychologist here at Start My Wellness. Most of my practice involves therapy caseload, but I also do some assessments here, which is nice to shake things up. And I did my Master's of Science in Clinical Psychology out at Eastern Michigan University.
So we're going to talk, thank you, Dana. We're going to talk today about some of Dana's experiences as a clinician working with our group and getting to know more about what it's been like for her, how she got started with us, where she's at now, and kind of how things have developed over the last couple of years. Dana's been a very successful clinician with our group, and so we thought this would be a good chance to kind of hear about her experience, her sort of the process that's looked like.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Dana, we could start with, how did you initially hear about Start My Wellness?
So I actually have a little bit of a story with that. I was looking to get started in private practice, and I was scouring the internet as I was right out of graduate school. And one of my colleagues at my practicum site sent me the advertisement for Start My Wellness, and I thought it sounded like a good fit. It was private practice, and there was offers of competitive wages and things that I was interested in doing. So that's how I heard of you guys.
What was your experience like getting started working with us? I mean, in terms of being maybe somewhat newer to the world of private practice, seeing patients, working with them, working in supervision. Like, what were those kind of initial few months like for you, or the first year maybe?
Yeah, I remember that starting out, you had me set up with a supervisor within my field.
Mm-hmm.
And so I met with her, and she was wonderful, and I think that's been a big part of what's been great about my experience here is getting matched with a supervisor that I have a really great relationship with.
For sure.
And following that, I started building up my caseload, and I got support from you guys on sort of what hours would be most ideal to attract clients, and some of the other administrative folks helped me figure out what platform to use for virtual therapy sessions.
For sure.
And sort of getting set up on the back end was a lot of support from you guys, so that was wonderful.
Yeah, I think some of those kind of early months or sometimes can be the most challenging, because you're getting into a routine, like what kind of patient population you work with, what technology do you use to make that happen, what does the administrative stuff look like, in terms of note taking or billing or insurance, right? So that's, I think, one of the more challenging part for the clinician, because you're not, when you're in graduate school, you're doing other types of work, you're not seeing that part of the business, so to speak, so much.
Mm-hmm.
I've found that people who have a good relationship with their supervisor, they're both more content, but they also are like learning. They're really feeling like they're getting a good. So that's I know from personal experience how valuable that could be, because that's the person you go to when you have questions, or you want to do a consultation, or you're not sure how to help with a particular case. It's good to have people in your corner who you can turn to.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've also participated in some of our educational offerings, or some of our seminars. Can you say anything about what, or sometimes maybe you speak with Dr. Bloom, like what's that been like for you in terms of some of our educational stuff that we do?
Yeah, so that was another great way to get started, especially given that it was one of the main ways I was meeting other clinicians at the practice.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a few different seminars that are offered, and they have different setups which are both helpful in their own ways on expanding clinical skills and sort of getting more comfortable in that environment, especially starting out, as it can be overwhelming, especially entering the field in private practice right out the gate for people. So that is one thing that I think is unique about Start My Wellness, in that private practice can be sort of daunting for people, and right out of graduate school, it is important to have those extra supports, and so that was something you guys offered.
For sure. Yeah, we try to, we try to create like a nurturing environment, because people have different goals and needs. Some people are looking Some people are more proactive. They want to learn more. They're more participating. Some people really value the community aspect of meeting other clinicians. So it's great that you took advantage of those opportunities. What about in terms of where you are now? I mean, you have a fairly established caseload, right? You just passed the important licensing exam to be more fully licensed, right?
Yeah.
What's going on in your kind of clinician life these days?
Yeah, so right now I have a good mix of client load that is specific to my area of interest and more general, just given that my expertise mainly lie in trauma, and so I do try to keep that spaced out a bit, since that can lead to burnout. So wonderful Helena here helps me get clients that are struggling with issues that are my main area of focus, and I also have a variety of other clients that are wonderful to work with, some that I've been working with for a long time and some more recently.
For sure.
I also do psychological assessments here at Start My Wellness, and that's been through the support of Dr. Bill Bloom a lot, that we've sort of established ways to make that work, since that's, I think, more of a new program here through Start My Wellness.
That's right.
And we're working up to getting me to do the assessments entirely on my own, and I'm really excited to be doing that soon.
For sure, right? And I know he's kind of he's helped as like sort of a mentor or coach, in the sense of helping you work on some of those additional skills and practice some of that stuff, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So we have sort of gone over the psychological assessments that are part of my graduate training, but more in depth, and he sort of gives me specific cases that will be more conducive to my learning, and I think that's been very helpful, so that I don't feel like I am sort of being pushed off the deep end with getting into that area more so, and that I've been able to build my confidence with psychological assessments. For
sure, and I can really appreciate what you mean. That it seems like one thing you're saying is those incremental building blocks of getting started, supervision, mentorship from like Dr. Bloom. It's helped you kind of travel this path of what is private practice and how are you going to be successful in it, to being more comfortable, more confident, and having more hands-on experience, where you feel like you're able to do things successfully and help people, and kind of have more of the day-to-day know-how how to do it. It seems like that's kind of more of where you are today.
Absolutely, and I think it takes time to get there. It's sort of the different seasons with private practice, and getting to know the staff to help me adjust accordingly.
Sure.
Sort of like what clients are looking for that are in demand right now, different areas of types of therapy, or different hours of the day that people are tending to look for.
For sure.
And little things like when caseload drops off, sort of building my caseload a bit more up prior to those drop-offs, so that my finances are a bit more stable.
Yeah, that's a great point, because there are definitely, I think it's a nice way to put it, in terms of the seasons, that the world of private practice there depends on the time of year, or the type of clients you work with, or your area of specialty. All that we sort of learn through experience and sort of consultation of how do you optimize, how do you kind of make your schedule more consistent and your income more predictable. That makes a lot of sense. Anything else that you'd add about, if there's a clinician who's considering this kind of work environment, anything else that you either found helpful or you think our group may be able to help them with? Like, any kind of advice you might give to somebody either finishing graduate school or at some other point in their career when they're exploring the private practice option?
I think one thing I would highly recommend, and that has been wonderful here at Start My Wellness, is really getting to know the staff here. That's been really crucial to helping me feel comfortable and really getting a handle on things.
That's a good point. You're talking about that you want to develop good working relationships, not only with the clients, of course, that you work with, but also with the people around you, the administrative team, any kind of clinical sort of consultation, other colleagues, because those relationships help us to kind of troubleshoot situations. We learn from each other. And so being kind of proactive and being able to and interested in establishing those connections really helps you navigate the unknowns, the uncertain, the unfamiliar,
billing issues for sure.
For sure, and especially right, and not navigate them on your own, like without kind of a roadmap for how to figure some of them out. That makes sense.
I think I would absolutely be lost without a lot of the administrative team, in that billing issues do come up, and that's again not something that we learn in graduate school.
For
and
sure.
I haven't been out in the other areas in the field, but that might not be as part of the responsibilities about the job if you aren't in private practice.
For sure.
Navigating
That's right.
those sort of discrepancies and whatnot.
For sure. If you're more like in a, let's say, hospital setting or some kind of big healthcare setting, you might not see that stuff as much kind of face to face. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's a very helpful conversation. I appreciate your comments, because we try to, as any organization, we try to learn from what works about what we do, what could we do better, what could we do differently. Every year we try to evolve how we help clinicians, so that we hopefully do a more thoughtful and kind of human-centered sort of approach, where we recognize the clinician both as somebody we work with, but also as a person, as an individual, as somebody who has their own preferences or perspectives that we try to value and include in our kind of how we run the company. So
yeah, I think you guys have been really receptive to feedback and things that people are interested in getting started in through the company. I know for me it's been more so assessments, and some people have started different like group supervisions of sorts, where it's more peer-based, and I know a lot of people have spoken very highly of that as well.
That's great. Well, you have so many nice things to say. I wish I had more questions. That's very helpful. So thank you, Dana. I really appreciate your talking with me about this.
Absolutely.